Good morning and welcome to Sierra Foothills Unitarian Universalists for our spring equinox service. My name is Stevie Ray, and I am a member of this congregation and the worship committee. Our congregation is served by the Reverend A.J. Van Tine, who's available for pastoral care by phone or email. We're joined for this service by Patty Leftridge, our music director, and Adrian Dills, our director of religious education. And we have special music by Jeff Chamberlain. And we are joined by all of you. You are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, and skin tones that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you experience and express gender, you are welcome here. In the beauty that is who you love and how you love, you are welcome here. In all the varied ways you move through and interact with the world, you are welcome here. With all the religious and ethical traditions that inform your spiritual life, you are welcome here. Whether you come feeling despair or hope for our world and its future, you are welcome here. Whether you are feeling sleep deprived from the switch to daylight savings time or feeling rested from taking advantage of World Sleep Day and National Sleep Week, you are welcome here. No matter how long you've been away, nor how soon you will return, you are welcome here. You're invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today.
Good morning. I'd like to add my own welcome to what Stevie said. It's so good to see you all here. I really enjoy having switched to having the lay leaders do that intro. So while that's going on, I can look in gallery view and see all your beautiful faces as everybody trickles in. I also add my own particular welcome to any newcomers who may be with us. Thank you for being with us today. Just so you know, after the postlude, we move into breakout rooms for a conversation in our coffee hour. I now invite Stevie to begin our worship by leading us in lighting our chalices.
We light our chalice with these words from the Reverend Sharon Wiley. The balance we seek. A crescent moon in the dark silhouette of evergreen trees against a deep blue night sky. The hours of day and night are in balance. In honor of earth-centered traditions that celebrate this time of year, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the balance we seek in our lives, the balance we seek in our hearts, and the balance we seek in our world. Please join us in our opening hymn, number 73, Chant for the Seasons.
Sharp the Good morning, everyone. Happy spring. Today, I wanted to talk about names. I have a really unusual spelling of my name, and I've always really liked it because it connects me to my ancestors who came up with that spelling, and it also is just not too feminine a spelling for my taste. That's a very personal thing. So even though people oftentimes spell my name wrong, I really like it a lot. Well, today I am going to read a story about a boy who does not like his unusual name. This story is called Thunder Boy Jr. It's by Sherman Alexie. It's the only children's book he's ever written so far. So it starts out, hello, my name is Thunder Boy. Thunder Boy Smith. That's my real name. My dad gave it to me at birth. My mom wanted to name me Sam. Sam is a good name. Sam is a normal name. Thunder Boy is not a normal name. There is nobody on earth with the same name as me. I am the only Thunder Boy who has ever lived. Or so you would think. But I am named after my dad. He is Thunder Boy Smith Sr., and I am Thunder Boy Smith Jr. People call him Big Thunder. That nickname is a storm filling up the sky. People call me Little Thunder. That nickname makes me sound like a burp or a fart. My mother's name is Agnes. My sister's name is Lillian. Those are fancy names, but they are normal names. Can I tell you a secret? Come over here and I will whisper it in your ear. I hate my name. Don't get me wrong, my dad is awesome, but I do not want to have the same name as him. I want my own name. I want a name that sounds like me. I want a name that celebrates something that I have done. I once touched a wild orca, so maybe my name should be Not Afraid of 10,000 Teeth. I once climbed a mountain, so maybe I should be Touch the Clouds. I love playing in the dirt, so maybe I should be Mud in My Ears. I learned to ride a bike when I was 3, so maybe my name should be Gravity's Best Friend. I once dreamed the sun and moon were my dad and mom, so maybe my name should be Star Boy. I like to go to garage sales with my mom, so maybe my name should be Old Toys Are Awesome. My dog likes to chase his tail. He likes to chase my tail, so maybe my name should be Can't Run Fast While Laughing. I love powwow dancing. I'm a grass dancer, so maybe my name should be Drums, Drums, and More Drums. I dream of traveling the world, so maybe my name should be Full of Wonder. I do not want the name they gave me when I was born. I do not want to be Little Thunder. I don't want to be small. I love my dad, but I don't want to be exactly like him. I love my dad, but mostly I want to be myself. I love my dad, but I want my own name. What do I do? What do I say? Son, I think it's time I gave you a new name, a name of your own. My dad read my mind. My dad read my heart. Son, my name will still be Thunder, but your new name will be Lightning. Together, my dad and I will become amazing weather. Our love will be loud and it will be bright. My dad and I will light up the sky. The end. I really love this story because it's a great book about making friends with yourself, with your culture, and with your family. The boy goes from feeling isolated and weird to appreciating himself. And he goes from feeling like he is not being seen by his family to being really appreciated and loved by his father. It makes me pause and think, what am I calling myself these days? How do I describe myself, not just with my name, but also with other words? How do these names and words help me feel seen and heard, connected to my past, my present, and my future? And with those thoughts, I wish you all a wonderful week.
Our reading today is Covenant by the Reverend Rebecca Parker. Let us covenant with one another to keep faith with the source of life, knowing that we are not our own. Earth made us. Let us covenant with one another to keep faith with the community of resistance, never to forget that life can be saved from that which threatens it by even small bands of people choosing to put into practice an alternative way of life. And let us covenant with one another to seek for an ever deeper awareness of that which springs upwardly in us, even when our hearts are broken by our own failure or the failure of others cutting into our lives, even when we have done all we can and life is still broken. There is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. This is the ground of our hope and the reason we can be bold in seeking to fulfill the promise.
In this community of mutual care, we celebrate the great joys of life together and help share the burden of sorrows and grief. As such, each week we share specific joys and sorrows from the lives of our members. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like shared on a Sunday, you can email joysandsorrows@mysfuu.org at any time with what you would like to be said. And if you have something that you haven't emailed but you bring with you this morning and would like to share now, you may type it into the chat bar for others to read. The only joy or sorrow to share in words this morning is a joy expressed by Marilyn Winters, that it was a real joy to have people get in touch, to leave phone calls, and to bring lovely gifts of food. She mentioned particularly Amy, Joan, and Jenny, and others for bringing food. She very much appreciated that. Holding this, any joys and sorrows that may be typed into the chat now, and all the joys and sorrows that we know we each carry with us, whether we express them to the community or not. Holding all of these, I invite you now into a time of meditation, reflection, and prayer. Great mystery which grounds us and surrounds us, divine presence known by many names and in many ways, beautiful Yostra of the dawn and spring, be with us in this turning of the season, as night gives way to day and the sun grows more powerful with each breaking sunrise. Remind us the fundamental truths that the earth made us, that nature always pursues a balance, that we ourselves are but transient beings and will one day return to the earth that made us, and that beauty and love and justice spring up within us always anew. We are patient and ready to listen. Great Goddess, Blessed Mother, be with us and grieve with us. Share in our sorrow as our nation mourns lives senselessly stolen this week by a heinous act of misogyny and racism. We speak their names aloud to mourn their passing and to remind us of the preciousness of each life lost. Every person's world who loved, all those who loved each of them, their worlds forever altered with the deepest sadness of loss. Soon Chung Park, Young Chung Kim, Sun Cha Kim, Yong A Yue, Xiao Ji Tan, Dai Yu Feng, Delana Yan, Paul Andre Michels. We pray for solace for their families. We pray for justice fervently. We pray that all those whose hearts are hardened against seeing this epidemic of hatred against women, against people of color, against immigrants, against any perceived difference that has been going on for decades and centuries and millennia, we pray that their hearts may be broken open. We pray that we can see and name these acts just as they are, that we have the fortitude and bravery to do so. For only then will we be able to carry out justice. And we know that without justice, there can be no peace. May we hold fast to the promise of a new day, of the beloved community we know is possible and within reach. May we rededicate ourselves anew to the work of justice, accountability, and progress. In giving ourselves over to this unrelenting work, may our fears burn away. May our souls unfurl their wings. May we open and bloom into the rose that is the alternate way of life, the better way of life, a collective, beloved, mutually supportive way of being in society that is just waiting to spring forth in the contours of our own lives. May it be so. Amen. Blessed be. I invite you to continue in the spirit of reflection, meditation, and prayer as we hear hymn 396, I Know This Rose Will Open.
I know this rose will open. I know my fears will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know this fears will run away. I know this tears will burn its wings. I know this tears will unfold its wings. I know this tears will unfold its wings. I know this tears will unfold its wings. I know this souls will unfold its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open.
Although we are all in the same storm, we are not in the same boat. Last Sunday, referring to 2020, Reverend AJ shared this quote: I'd heard it before, and trust me, I realize how fortunate I am to have had life experiences and circumstances that were preparing me for the year of the pandemic. I'm not going to subject you to a litany of those circumstances, but just that I have been building my own lifeboat for many decades, and my planks of experiences are held together with lots of pithy sayings. You can't control the wind or tides, but you can control the sails and rudder. Fall down 8 times, get up 9, a Japanese proverb. Comparison is the thief of joy, Teddy Roosevelt. Things don't just happen, things are made to happen, JFK. Do what you can with what you have where you are, Teddy again. And put your own oxygen mask on first so that you can help others. Every airline ever. Over the past 25 years, I've welcomed challenges and opportunities to demonstrate just how nimble, flexible, and strong my little lifeboat has become. Cancer, bring it on. Broken leg, I can work around it. Caregiver to my mom after her stroke and subsequent decline, I can manage that. Ditto for my mother-in-law during her dementia and decline. Fortunate to get help, and still I can go on. Husband surgeries, needing a little more help from my friends, but I'll get through it. Each event was a warm-up for the next, testing me. I started March of 2020 with a really very positive mindset. Felt my life was back in balance again. Fred was doing really well. At SFUU, we had just finished our 2021 stewardship campaign successfully. We were getting ready to coordinate our wonderful new minister, AJ, and we already had a theme and a team for our spring fundraiser. Then, boom, coronavirus lockdown. I needed to adapt again, along with everybody else. Social distancing, bring it on. I've actually done this before. Living overseas, not seeing family for years at a time, I can do that. At SFUU, we pivoted quickly and I think very successfully to a new reality. We can manage this. Services and ordination on Zoom, not a problem. We can learn it. Fundraising, we can figure out new ways. Meet Zoomathon and Nightmare on Zoom Street. With a group of really talented and enthusiastic folks, they made it happen. My resolve was high. For my own self-commitment, instead of driving to Grass Valley to work or going to the gym 3 days a week, I dug out my exercise DVDs. Hey, I showered and dressed in work clothes for every single Zoom meeting, and there were lots. And since sleep is an important part of wellness, I took lots and lots of lovely naps. I was determined to maintain my commitment to myself and to my self-care. Because after all, put your own oxygen mask on first. And that was great until around month 6. I started to notice a creeping reluctance to consistently use those exercise DVDs. And even online workouts were starting to lose their appeal. I realized I actually now had nighttime jammies and daytime jammies. And the more I heard about how other people were letting go of their healthy routines, the easier it became for me to let go of mine. Binge watching TV all day? No guilt. Long naps? Well, obviously I need them. Frequent takeout from local restaurants? Oh, I'm just helping the local economy. Thank goodness, and our friend Burl. In September, we welcomed our new family member, a 7-year-old Yorkie, well-trained and eager to walk. This event was actually a much needed boost to my own motivation to stay active and dressed. We need to do this from time to time because here's the thing. Commitment is staying loyal to what you said you were going to do long after the mood you set it in has left you. Luckily, there are strategies to help us recapture that mood, things that we can do to restart ourselves. And chief among them is to ask for support and be around others who energize us. Even when our commitment is individual, it can still be so powerful to have a community for reinforcement. You know, commitment to yourself might be related to wellness, physical or mental. It might be related to education or financial goals or spiritual needs. Kind of depends where you are in your life. You know, it might even be to finish what you started. Or it might be to give yourself grace when you can't quite manage what you thought you could. I know we're almost there. We can see light at the end of the tunnel. Fred and I and most folks we know are fully vaccinated now, and more will be soon. And here's what else I know. There will be another tunnel around the bend. Maybe not a big worldwide challenge like a pandemic, but you know, we'll each have our own challenges ahead. Life is just like that. And commitment to ourselves first can help us get through them. I know I'll be ready because I've been practicing. I learned pandemic lessons and I'm still building my boat. So I'll just leave you with one last pithy saying. There is a choice you have to make in everything you do. And you must always keep in mind the choice you make makes you. Please enjoy this special music by Jeff Chamberlain.
Slowly growing, the breath of heaven blowing, new things arise from the ground. The breeze is slowly forming, the frost is slowly forming. I know there's a life all around, and holding on comes flame. I'll take this day I've made and trim away all that I fear. Wheel turning round, I'm going where it takes me. Follow the sound of the stars that made me. It's just a ride with many secrets to reveal. I'm gonna ride on that wheel. Diamonds and you know that the fire from the south, from the dragon's mouth. I hear a clarion call. It's time to get things done now. Fields are overrun now. It's time to bring down that wall. I'll take my staff in hand and cross the borderland and search until I found it all. Wheel turning round, I'm going where it takes me. Follow the sound of the stars that made me. It's just a ride with many secrets to reveal. I'm gonna ride on that wheel. Hog my water up ahead, truth and face our fear. Nourish seeds we have sown. Together conquer hate. Pass boldly through that gate. Powered by love that we have known. Wheel turning round, I'm going where it takes me. Follow the sound of the stars that made me. It is just a ride with many secrets to reveal. I'm gonna ride on that wheel. I'm gonna ride on that wheel. Oh, I'm gonna ride on that wheel.
Thank you, Jeff. It's always a gift to have your music with us, especially on these quarter and cross quarter days. It is the equinox. Hail spring. Hail the season of new life and growing plants. Spirit of air, the breath of inspiration and the energy of new beginnings. Hail equal night, bringing us into balance, reminding us that equilibrium always finds a way of reasserting itself. For instance, I had originally planned to do a more traditional sermon for this service, inspired by the floral and agricultural metaphors of the spring equinox, and along with our month's theme of commitment, to talk about the importance of self-care, self-cultivation, commitment to self, as an important part of our values as religious liberals and our commitments to others and to the world generally. And I would include a hearty caution against what capitalism and consumerism will often try to pass off as self-care, but ends up taking just the form of turning yourself into another consumer. But instead, I found that my heart and my mind and my creativity have been distracted and unfocused as of late. Perhaps you have felt similarly. I no doubt attribute it to the anniversary of the pandemic weighing on all our minds and souls, and what I've seen described as the third lap syndrome that I know at least I am experiencing, where if there's 4 laps to a race, we're sort of in the third one. We're not quite at the last hurdle and sprint to get it all done, but we are very far along in the journey, and our endurance and our fatigue may be flagging. And so yielding to what was more naturally arising for me, giving into my own self-care, what I ended up producing for you for your worship experience this morning is another guided visual meditation that may seem familiar if you were here for our water ingathering, a water ceremony in the September and the winter solstice in December. It has felt like both an act of self-care to allow myself to follow the spirit in this direction. And I also hope that it will be a more soothing and helpful experience to your own self-commitment and self-care than any number of nuggets of wisdom that my would-be sermon might have had. Sometimes self-care and commitment to ourselves is about letting what arises naturally come forth, not resisting that. And so without further ado, on this equinox morning, I invite you to make sure that you get into a comfortable position, most likely seated, but you can be in any kind of position, but preferably one where you can feel either your feet or some other part of your body firmly on the ground, connected to the ground. Your hands may be at your side or gently in your lap. And simply begin by noticing your breath. Pay attention to the in breath. Notice how it feels coming in, and savor the release of a nice, slow out breath. Find that balance between inhalation and exhalation. Just as our planet is balanced right now with even lengths of day and night. Suspended in space, yet rotating and revolving in relation to the sun and other planets. So are you, floating on the surface of our blue boat home, moving and growing and changing in relation to your friends, families, neighbors, and all living things in our biosphere. Send love and gratitude to this planet holding you up. Now imagine you are a plant, relying on the earth as your ground of being. Maybe it doesn't take so much imagination. Imagine the soil all around you that you are indebted to. The soil that has held you since you were small. It feeds you rich nutrients and holds you in your place. Bring your attention to that connection with the ground, whether it's your feet or other parts of your body, or connection to a chair or a seat, which is connected to the floor, which is connected to the ground, and feel where your roots reach down into that earth. Imagine these roots growing from your feet or wherever you are connected to the earth. Visualize the roots digging deep, drinking life from the cold, damp earth. Give love and gratitude to your roots. Feel the energy flowing up from the earth into your body. Feel it trickle up your legs, up your core, up your spine. Give love and gratitude to your skeleton for holding you up and giving you shape, for carrying you everywhere you have gone in this life. Feel the energy coursing up from the earth into your spine and then emanating from this basic column of your being back out into your limbs and extremities. Feel it coursing up and out through every fingertip, toe tip, and nail, up, out through the top of your head to the heavens, connecting you to the day-blind stars. Give love and gratitude to these points of connection. Imagine these and the other points of contact with the outer world, your senses, your touch, taste, smell, sight, each a budding flower on the branch of your body outstretched to greet the world. Give love and gratitude to your senses. Imagine you are a great tree, flowering and overflowing with abundance and life in the spring. For it is true, this is a truth of your greatness, your impact in the world, your preciousness, your belovedness, and your beauty. Next, imagine that you are a tiny leaf and stem, just hatching out of your seed in the cold womb of soil. You're full of potential, yet fragile and vulnerable. You need sun, water, and soil. For this is also a truth. This, the truth of your smallness, your reliance on others, and how far you have yet to grow. Remember that you cannot do it alone. You need that fertile soil. You need the dew and the rain to slake your thirst and the sun to warm your face. You need your friends and neighbors for shelter and support and community. Recognizing this interdependence, recognizing that we are born into constellations and commitments that precede us and shape us, that we are fundamentally not separate from each leaf, branch, bird, each creature that crawls, from each other person and each other thing. Recognizing this interdependence, what commitment calls out from you, from within you, in response? What commitment within you is ready to partake of all the life-giving rain around you? What commitment is called for by your own deepest, most sacred being? What commitment within you is asking to be set free and to bloom? What is it that you can do or let go of doing to honor the divine within you, which is the same divine in every rock and tree and flower and river and mountain? You did not make yourself. We are made by the earth. and you are held by a love that holds us all. What will you tend to and nurture in yourself this spring? Welcoming whatever answers may arise within you during this meditation, or simply sitting with the questions like old friends. I invite you back to your breath for a few more moments of meditative silence before our closing hymn.
It is often said that the offering is the sacrament of the free church. That is to say, everything this congregation is and has is only what we bring to it: our time, our talents, and our treasures. In person, this is embodied by the powerful ritual of literally passing the plate and chipping in. With our online services, however, we ask that you contribute to our collection after the service by going to our website or using the fabulously easy text to give. As part of our ethic of generosity, we also split our monthly collection with a local community organization aligned with our values. This month, the Share the Plate recipient is NorCal Resist, a community-based activist organization that offers a variety of services to asylum-seeking and undocumented persons. Its mission is to build infrastructure against oppression and empower our communities through shared resources and support. Thank you for your generosity.
We are not our own. The earth made us. The soil nurtured us. The wind inspires us. The fire within us burns for justice, and the rain replenishes us when we are weary. May we join the elements in tending to ourselves as well, finding joy and resilience in the experience and acknowledgement of interdependence on this equinox day and every day. May it be so. Please join me in our words to extinguish the chalice. As we go forth, may we
May we
carry the flame
flame
of peace and
Peace
love
and love
until we meet
until we
again. Blessed be.